Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, January 10th, 2022. The 7-day precip information is shown here with the observed amounts on the left and the percent of normal on the right. We have had a few good storms move through across the northern third to half of the Great Basin over the past week, bringing some pretty heavy amounts of precipitation, especially rain across the lower elevations here in southern Idaho and into over the higher elevations of northern Utah and western Wyoming as well. But the southern half of the geographic area, all of Nevada into central and southern Utah has been quite dry for the past 7 days. Again, snow for the past 72 hours, limited mainly to the higher elevations of Idaho, western Wyoming, and northern Utah. Our snow depth, however, is looking pretty good for the time of year. All these pinks and purples in here are somewhere between 50 to 100 inches on the snow depth, so not bad for the middle of January. Our satellite imagery this morning is showing a high pressure ridge in place over the Great Basin. That's going to remain with us for really the bulk of the work week. We're not expecting much in the way of any significant storms this week. That's really going to put a damper on our ventilation rates and our air quality this week. So for today, high pressure remains in place. There's a little just weak shortwave trying to move into Idaho here, but ventilation rates really low across the geographic area. Wind speeds are low also across much of the area. Some higher gusts possible over far southwest Utah, with low mixing heights across much of the region. On Tuesday, we expect to see more of the same. The high pressure ridge is displaced just a bit to the south and west, but still fairly light winds, a little bit of higher mid-level moisture there over Idaho, but still not expecting any precipitation up there. And ventilation rates remain low. Wind speeds on Tuesday are still pretty light across the geographic area. Some higher gusts possible over far western Wyoming and maybe over the higher elevations of Idaho, with low mixing heights across the area as well. On Wednesday, continued ridging across the area, so still not expecting any significant change to the weather pattern. Low ventilation rates area-wide. Continued light winds and low mixing heights. So the next few days, don't expect much in the way of any significant changes. Clearing index is also very low across Utah for the next few days with a stagnant air pattern. And the 3-day precip totals show a big fat 0 for the Great Basin. Precip is possible over the northwest. We do see a bit of a change starting on Thursday. Low pressure trough scoots across the northern Rockies, which will bring a little bit of a cold front through the Great Basin. This is getting weaker as the days go by, so not really expecting much in the way of precipitation on Thursday. Maybe some higher elevation precip and better chances even across the portions of Utah with that little trough. Ventilation rates still staying pretty low, however. And then on Friday, a dry pattern returns. With ventilation rates still fairly low across the area, but we see them increasing and improving a bit over Utah and Nevada. And then on Saturday, continuing again to that dry pattern across the area, and ventilation rates decrease once again over Utah and Nevada, just not seeing the troughs dropping down into the Great Basin this week. And then the ridge kind of rebuilding again on Sunday, or remaining in place on Sunday, low ventilation rates. Precip for days 4 and 5 really is really disappearing as the model runs continue. So right now it's looking just very minimal high elevation precip expected in that Thursday time frame over Utah, but elsewhere dry for the entire period. The extended forecast is calling for above normal temperatures over Nevada and western Utah, and below normal chances for precip in those same areas. Above normal precip is expected over the northern Rockies, so hopefully we can see some of that moving into the Great Basin. It does look like there's a better chance for some storms to move through midweek next week, so we'll just have to wait until then. But this week is going to be dry with light winds. And that concludes today's smoke dispersion briefing. Please check back on Thursday for the latest updates.